Hello and welcome. This is Bijan Hushiar. The core component in this internetwork is a Cisco 2911 router. There are three networks attached to this router. One network we are going to configure as a SLAAC, which means devices in that network will receive prefix length, and default gateway from the router, and they are going to come up with their own interface ID. We are going to configure this side as a SLAAC with DHCP version 6, which means devices in this network will receive prefix length, and default gateway from the router, and come up with their own interface ID using their own MAC addresses. For other parameters such as DNS server IPv6 address and domain name, they are going to be directed to a DHCPv6 pool that we are going to create on this router. Under Stateful, this device in this network will receive all the parameters, prefix length, default gateway, other parameters such as DNS server IPv6 address and domain name from DHCPv6 server, which we are going to configure this router as such. The difference between these three types of DHCP is the value of the flags that you see in here. There are three of them. A, short for automatic, O, other, M, managed. A, all of them by default are having the value of 0. Under SLAAC, we need to change the value of A to 1. Keep the other two as 0. Under SLAAC with DHCP version 6, we need to keep M as 0, change A and O to 1. Under Stateful, it doesn't matter what the value of A and O are. We just need to change the value of M to R. So let's go ahead and start configuring this internetwork for SLAAC with DHCPv6 and Stateful. The access command line interface of the router. We go to privilege mode and then global configuration mode. The first thing that we do is we are going to enable IPv6 routing on this router by this command, IPv6 unicast -routing. Then we are going to create the pool, IPv6 DHCP pool. You can name it anything that makes sense to you. For this practice, I'm going to call it pool 1. Pool-1. As you do that, your prompt changes. Now you can add parameters to your pool to be used, to be given, or list out to the clients. The first thing that I want to add to the pool is the DNS server's IPv6 address with this command, DNS-server 2001:8:8. The second parameter that I want to add to the pool is a domain that these pieces are part of. The command is domain -name space whatever that domain name is. I'm going to call it abc.com. abc.com. Those two parameters are good enough for SLAAC with DHCP version 6. But for stateful, we need another parameter, and that parameter is the address range. That IPv6 addresses from that range are going to be listed out to the clients. As a matter of fact, the prefix and prefix length of it will be used to be given to the clients. And that command is address prefix, and then the prefix, which is 2001 in this case, colon db2 double colon slash 64. Enter. So our pool is created that can be used for this and this network. Let's exit from this one. We are in global configuration mode. We need to configure a SLAAC. G00 is connected to the network that we want to configure as SLAAC. So we access that interface G00. Notice that the address, the prefix and prefix length that I want to use for this network is 2001 double colon db0. I'm sorry, 2001 colon db0 double colon. That's the prefix. Slash 64. The 64 part of it is prefix length. For the network, which we call SLAAC with DHCP version 6, I'm using a different prefix. And for the stateful, I'm using yet another one. This is the one that I added to the DHCPv6 pool. So I'm going to configure interface G00 with IPv6 address 2001 colon db0 double colon 1/64. I need to assign a link local address, IPv6 address FE80 double colon 1 link local. So I'm adding a link local address to G00. I have to turn A on with this command, IPv6 address autoconfig. I have to turn the interface on with no shot. So the interface is on. Let's go to the PC and put it on automatic and wait for this light to turn on to see if it receives the prefix length, and default gateway from the router's interface. The interface is on. Notice it has received prefix, which is 2001 double colon db0. It came up with its own interface ID based on its MAC address. It has received the prefix length 64. It has received default gateway, which is the link local address that we assigned to the G00. So SLAAC is done. Let's go ahead and configure SLAAC with DHCP version 6. We have to configure G01 with this prefix and prefix length. So let's exit back to global configuration mode and access interface G01, assign IPv6 address of 2001 colon db1 double colon 1/64 IPv6 address. Okay, and then that IPv6 address is assigned. Let's go ahead and assign a link local address, IPv6 address FE80 1 link local. Notice that I'm using the same link local addresses on all interfaces. It's no problem since it is link local address. The same address can be used in different networks. Then I have to turn A on because under SLAAC with DHCPv6, I have to turn the A on, and that command is IPv6 address autoconfig. Press enter. I have to turn O on by performing this command: IPv6 neighbor discovery other dash config dash flag. Enter. Obviously, I have to tell this interface the name of the pool that clients would use to get these other parameters from it, and that command is IPv6 DHCP server pool-1. Okay. On the DHCP server, use this pool to get the parameters such as DNS server, IPv6 address, and domain name. Obviously, I have to turn the interface on. No shot. DHCP version 6, SLAAC with DHCP version 6 is configured. Let's go to PC1, see if has any IP addresses, IPv6 addresses yet. No, we have to wait for the light to turn on. Light is turned on, and here we go. It has received prefix length of 2001:DB1 with the prefix length of 64 from the router. It came up with its own interface ID based on its MAC address. It also received default gateway and DNS servers IPv6 address. Let's see if it has received the domain name. We go to command prompt of the PC1 and we type IPv6 config 11/all. Here we go. It has also received the domain name. So that's SLAAC with DHCP version 6. Now we need to configure this side of the router for stateful. We've already created the pool that we need with all the parameters that we needed in that pool for this side. The only thing that is left is to configure this interface with an IPv6 address, link local address, change the flag to 1, turn it on, and tell what pool to be used on the DHCP server to this interface for clients to get their parameters from. So I go back to the router, exit back to the global configuration mode, and access interface G02 this time. And I assign an IPv6 address of 2001:DB2:1/64. Let's double check. Correct. I have to assign a link local address to it. IPv6 address FE80 link dash local. I have to change the O on with this command: IPv6 ND neighbor discovery managed dash config dash flag. This command changes the M flag from 0 to 1. I have to tell the name of the pool on the DHCP server that must be used by the clients. The command is IPv6 DHCP server pool1 -1. Obviously, I have to turn the interface on, no shot. Let's go ahead and check the PC2 to see if it receives the parameters. Not yet, because the link light is still not green. After that link light is turned green, it should receive the parameters that needed from the DHCP server, or the parameters that we added to the pool on router. There you go. It has received the prefix length of 2001:DB2 and the prefix length. It has received default gateway. It has received the DNS server IPv6 address. Let's go to command prompt to see if it has received the domain name. Also, the command was IPv6 config /all. It has also received the domain name from the DHCPv6 server. So this is configuring SLAAC for this side, SLAAC with DHCPv6 on that side, and stateful DHCP version 6 on this side. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video and you found it informative, please don't forget to recommend it to others who may be interested. Thank you.